all ties in based on the very first verse, verse 24. Look what perspective they that received tribute money had.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't come to Peter and ask Peter, are you going to pay tribute money?
Mm-hmm.
Now, why didn't they do that? They knew Peter was a servant. They knew servants don't pay tribute. Their master pays tribute. That's why they said, does not your master pay tribute? And if you still didn't get it, then the last verse will clue you in, because when he gives Peter the money, he tells Peter, pay not just for me, but pay for you too. So who owns the responsibility to pay your bills? God does, the master. And he pays it for those in his kingdom, in his house. Do you see that so far?
Mm-hmm.
Which means your working is necessary, it's just part of the cycle. You're working to get money to give to others.
Mm-hmm.
You're working to get money for future generations, ultimately. You're working to pay the world, and you're working to be part of God's system. So the reason you work has nothing to do with you, ultimately. Because your true job is to know God.
Yeah.
That's your job, to know God and obey. That's your main job. Your work you do in the world is just you being part of the system. But if I take my focus off that, then I cut the cycle. All right? I start thinking, I'm working for. It's like, no, you're really just working because that's part of the system. Actually, ultimately, you're working because that's actually what it means to be part of God. The angels work.
Mm-hmm.
Hebrews 1 tells us their job is to minister to us.
Mm-hmm.
The angels of God, that is. The angels of the devil minister against us.
Mm-hmm.
So angels work. Yet they're spirits, but they work.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So working is essential. God is pretty much giving us training now for what we will be doing in the resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
We will still be working. But we won't be foolish enough to think that we have to work in the world to live. Because we'll know, no, I have life in me already. I already have life.
Mm-hmm.
This is for God's purpose. I'm working for God's purpose. He says it best in Deuteronomy 8:18. He says, it is me to give you wealth to do what? Establish God's covenant. We work for the wrong reason. And like the prodigal son, when we decide that we're working for ourselves, we leave our Father's house.
Mm-hmm.
And it says we waste it. We waste our living.
Mm-hmm.
It says we waste our living. Let's go back to Haggai. 2 back from Malachi. Another verse that talks about working. Verse 6 of Haggai chapter 1. Matter of fact, I read verse 5. It says, now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. You have sown much, you bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but you are not filled with drink. You clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. Your focus on pleasing yourself causes waste. Your focus on pleasing yourself causes you to have to work. Because the thing that should have accumulated, it never accumulated. It keeps wasting. I'll go to Ecclesiastes 6, and we probably finish in Ecclesiastes 5, which is right before it. The smartest man on earth before Jesus, had some things to say. Yeah, he was smart as ever, just. And Ecclesiastes in 6, look at chapter 6, verse 1 and 2. Ecclesiastes 6, verse 1 and 2. It says, "There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, and it is common among men." And here's the evil. "A man to whom God hath given riches, wealth, and honor, so that he wanteth nothing for his soul of all that he desireth, yet God giveth him not power to eat thereof, but a stranger eateth it. This is vanity, it is an evil disease." This is the verse that Jesus ultimately paraphrases and says, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? See, it is evil to work and not be satisfied. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. It is evil to work and not be satisfied. And the one reason that happens is you're working for the wrong reason. Mm-hmm. Back in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, go to verse 10. It says, "He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, mm-hmm. nor he that loveth abundance with increase. This is also vanity." When I leave God and just